everybody, and welcome back to the football betting series here on YouTube, UEFA Euros edition. Reviewing Matchday One, it's been a strong start to the tournament, a perfect start actually, with 4 wins, 0 losses, and 0 pushes for a total profit of £71.40. Adding that to our overall record from the past domestic season, and we're looking at 90 wins, 32 losses with 11 pushes, and a total profit of £525.40. I've got 4 more selections here for Matchday 2, so if you think I'm talking some sense, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. And without further ado, let's get into it. We kick things off with Croatia versus Albania, and Croatia were thoroughly outclassed in their opening match against Spain, losing 3-0 in the first half, and whilst the Croats grew into the game in the second half, they were ultimately unable to beat an imperious Unai Simon, who saved a penalty late on to maintain his clean sheet. This particular result snapped a 6-game winning run coming into the tournament, and with Italy coming up in the final game, it's imperative that Croatia get something from Game 2 against Albania, or else we could be looking at an early exit from this tournament's group of death. Albania, on the other hand, they shocked many neutrals as they opened the scoring in their first match against Italy. Barami opened the scoring just after 23 seconds, although this lead didn't last very long, as Italy's Alessandro Bastoni and Nicola Barea scored in the 11th and 16th minutes to complete the turnaround in the first half. After this, Italy managed the game expertly, and Albania were unable to come up with another big chance to secure a point, with the final score finishing 2-1 to the Azzurri. It looks like the Albanians are being found out at the top level of European football, something which I don't think will surprise many people, as they're now winless in their last 3 competitive matches, and that does include 2 pretty embarrassing draws against the Faroe Islands and Moldova, 2 sides which rank 133rd and 153rd according to FIFA's world rankings. With no head-to-head record to work off here, we'll have to go for the relative strength of the 2 sides. I think that Croatia are not only the stronger side on paper, but they're also in what I consider to be a must-win situation, despite it only being the second game of the tournament. Albania, on the other hand, they simply don't look up to the top level of European football, and I'm expecting them to roll over here and against Spain in the final group game as well. Croatia to win for me for a full stake in bet number 1. Our second selection sees Spain versus Italy, and Spain, they beat Croatia by 3-0 in some style, killing the contest off in the first half and being able to rest some key players ahead of Game 2 against Italy. In terms of form, Spain are looking pretty strong, 9 straight competitive wins and unbeaten in 12 of their last 13 international matches. Their only loss in the last 12 months came at the hands of Colombia in March's friendly, a game which saw a heavily rotated side fielded to give head coach Luis de la Fuente some ideas ahead of the Euros. They play an Italy side who, despite falling behind to an early goal, managed to come back within 16 minutes and hold Albania at arm's length to secure 3 points in their 2-1 win in Matchday 1. This result continued a streak of 6 internationals now without a loss. When we look at the head-to-head records, the most recent game took place between these 2 sides in the Nations League last year. Spain ran out 2-1 victors in a game in which they dominated with 62% of the ball, outshooting Italy by 19 shots to 8, with the Italians only managing to score thanks to a penalty. This result means that Spain have won each of the last 2 competitive encounters against Italy, and they've not lost within the 90 minutes in the last 6 games against the Italians. There is no doubt that Spain come into this game as the more fancied of the 2 sides, but one thing I fancy more is goals. During qualification, Spain saw an average of 3.75 goals per game, with 5 of their 8 qualifiers seeing at least 3 goals scored. Additionally, in the build-up to the tournament, Spain managed just 1 clean sheet as they allowed goals against Colombia, Brazil, and Northern Ireland, so there's definitely some defensive question marks with the Spanish. The Italians, on the other hand, well, in qualification they saw 3.12 goals per game on average, with 5 of their 8 qualifiers seeing at least 3 goals. Additionally, only 3 of their last 5 qualifiers saw Italy manage a clean sheet, so their historic reputation as a defensively solid side is called into question coming into this tournament. When we look at the head-to-head records, both of the last 2 games and 3 of the last 4 competitive encounters have seen at least 3 goals scored, and both of the opening games for the Euros against Croatia and Albania have seen 3 goals scored. So with all of this information in mind, I'm going to be backing over 2.5 goals in this one. Although it is match day 2 and neither side needs a win outright, I'll be backing over 2.5 goals, but only for a half stake in this one. Moving on to bet number 3, the Netherlands play host to France, and it took an 83rd minute Weghorst goal to seal a 2-1 win for the Netherlands in their first game against Poland. A game in which, after falling behind in the 16th minute, the Dutch saw most of the play. They had more possession, they outcreated the Poles and outshot them, but more importantly, they outscored the Polish side, who really felt the loss of Lewandowski in their opening match. This victory continued a streak of 4 competitive wins and 7 wins in their last 8 for the Netherlands, with their only loss in that spell coming against the host nation, Germany. They play a France side who picked up an opening day win in their match by 1-0 against Austria, and this was thanks to an own goal in the first half. Despite seeing a majority of the ball, the football wasn't free-flowing from the French side at all. Making matters worse, Kylian Mbappe was substituted off thanks to a suspected broken nose, which could leave him out of the game against the Dutch. Still, 3 points is a good start to the campaign for the French side, who have not impressed at all in their warm-up games. A 2-0 loss to Germany was followed up by fairly unconvincing wins against Chile by 3-2 and Luxembourg by only 3-0. Their final send-off was a disappointing draw, a bore draw, as they drew 0-0 to Canada. When we look at the head-to-head records, France have dominated recent proceedings, winning both matches in the qualifying campaign by an aggregate of 6-1. And in fact, France have won 6 of the last 7 encounters between these two nations in a run dating back to March of 2014. My prediction for this particular game, despite some issues before the tournament, France have shown their class in the competitive fixtures between the two sides, showing that they can really turn it on when they need to, is leading me to back them in what I consider to be quite a good price here. France to win, yes, but only for a half stake. Our fourth and final selection sees Romania play Belgium. And Romania, they managed to shock a lot of neutrals against Ukraine in their 3-0 win. The Ukrainians proved to be their worst enemy, giving away possession cheaply for Stanku's opening goal. Lunin was also at fault for the second goal as Marin's long shot dipped under the hands of the goalkeeper for goal number 2. And shortly thereafter, Romania put the game to bed thanks to some suspect defending. All in all, Romania played their hearts out and did really well without the ball, and made their chances count at the other end when the opportunities presented themselves. Now, this result for Romania came as somewhat of a surprise, as they were on a real poor run of form coming into the tournament. They failed to pick up a win in their 4 pre-tournament friendlies against Northern Ireland, Colombia, Bulgaria and Liechtenstein, failing to register a goal in their latter 2 matches. But if we want to talk about failing, look no further than Belgium. The perennial dark horse side has never really impressed, and they continue to do so in their 1-0 defeat to Slovakia in the opening game of this competition. True, the Belgians did have 2 goals chalked off thanks to VAR, and there were a couple of goal line clearances in there as well, and some goalkeeper heroics. But if we're looking at the positive sides, Belgium did create a number of chances which they ultimately failed to convert, and I'm sure if they had those chances over again, they would be able to find the back of the net. Like Romania before, Belgium's opening day result ran counter to their pre-tournament form. Coming into this game, Belgium were unbeaten in their last 9 competitive matches, and a run of 15 games in total unbeaten. And as such, I don't think they're going to struggle to pick up 3 points against a Romanian side, which they really have to beat in order to try and secure qualification from the group. Belgium to win for a full stake for me in the final bet of the episode. So there we have it, 4 selections in today's episode, starting off with Croatia versus Albania. We're going to be backing the Croats to pick up the win at odds of 1.5, a £30 stake to return 15. Next up, we're taking over 2.5 goals in the Spain versus Italy game. Odds of even money at a half stake of £15 should return £15 profit. Next up, the Netherlands versus France. We're going to be backing the French side at close to even money, a half stake of £15 to return £14.55. And wrapping up the episode, Belgium versus Romania. We're going to be backing the Belgians to try and open their goal scoring account and pick up 3 points as well in Matchday 2. Odds of about 1.5, £30 stake to return £14.10. So across the episodes, we're going to be risking £90 to hopefully return as much as £58.65. Will we do so? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to tune into the next episode. But if you have made it to this point in the video, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. And as always, have yourself a lovely day.